I'll send these doctor bills, airmail special, to Whitey on the moon.
I said, well, I'm not trying to say anything about anything. I'm just rambling. The point is, the biggest tribute I can give to a man whose music I've loved since I was, 14, which is actually longer ago than you lot think. So I'm Kate Tempest. I'm a poet, which is a word that used to kind of intimidate me, because I think if you're a poet who isn't kind of one of those overblown, elevated poets whose work exists in libraries or kind of on school syllabuses, it can be hard to stand up and say you're a poet. You see, I went from cheating on to cheater, from beating on to beater, but then I broke the cycle, didn't want to be evil. What Gil Scott-Heron has kind of done for me as a poet and a writer, and someone who began as a rapper, is show me that a true poet is someone who's aware of their own weakness and goes through what they go through in their life and is honest in their poetry and is fallible and is human and not necessarily kind of trapped away in the pages of a book somewhere in a dusty library and used by people as a kind of way of putting other people down. You know, poetry sometimes, unfortunately, can be used to make people feel stupid, but what I think is beautiful about Gil Scott-Heron's work and what it does for me is that it makes you feel the value in true poetry, which is the stuff that's from the heart, and that is a cry of pain or sorrow or joy that has kind of got nothing to do with how many letters you got after your name, etc. Do you know what I mean? All I know is that I write poems for you all day when I'm drunk that you won't ever read, but what I lack in discretion, I make up for in passion. Me, I live at the mercy of patterns. You see, Oscar Wilde once wrote, and when I read it, I believed it. The only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it. That's why I yield to the patterns, because I know that everything is balanced by the patterns. I have seen them in the way that I relate to my companions. It's reassuring to know that a man who expressed his anger and expressed his situation from where he was from, what he'd seen and what he'd been through, could get out of the place he was from, reach across the Atlantic and find me 30 years later. Do you know what I mean? It's reassuring to know that somebody can speak that kind of message and it can manage to be heard. So here's an inspiration in that sense. Say what you mean and it will be heard if you're being honest.
Sometimes I feel like I'm just standing around, it's getting me down, looking for the